Chapter 11. And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers, and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her. For she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived, and sent and told David, and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, Go down to thy house, and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and therefore followed him, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of the Lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house? And Uriah said unto David, The ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink, and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. And David said to Uriah, Tarry here a day or so, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, When thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if it so be that the king's wrath rise, and he say unto thee, Wherefore approached ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Know ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebez? Why went ye nigh to the wall? Then say thou, Thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and shewed David all that Joab had sent him for. And the messenger said unto David, Surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, Thus shalt thou say unto Joab, Let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. For the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. We see here the downfall of David. What if you've never been to the Middle East, you wouldn't know, but virtually all the homes have flat roofs. And in the heat of the day or at night, people will go up on the roofs to get a breeze or some cool air or something to make it a little easier to get to sleep or to cool off. And the king's palace would have been higher than any other home. And David was up on the roof, and it was nighttime. He was sleeping. And Bathsheba was up on her roof washing. David spied her, and he sent for her. Now, she would not have felt, when the king sends for you in an absolute society where the king can have you killed, you go. And David slept with her. She became pregnant. She let him know that she was pregnant. And so David tried to figure out how to handle this. Her husband was away at the war, and so he had the general send Uriah home and then inquired of Uriah how things were going, and then he sent Uriah to go to his house. And Uriah would not do that. And Uriah would not do that. Now, the Hittites were not Jews, were not Hebrews at all. He was one of the 600, I guess, that had been drawn to Israel, were drawn to David. And he felt that as long as the other people that he was fighting with did not have the opportunity to go to their homes, he wouldn't go to his. This is a man of absolute integrity, absolute integrity. And so he slept with the king's servants overnight. They sent home a mess, that is a selection of food and drink from the king's table, with the idea of him probably having a good time and getting drunk and sleeping with his wife, but he wouldn't have any of it. And the next day, David said, well, stay with me one more day and then I'll let you go. They got him drunk that night. Figured he'd go home. He wouldn't do that. So then David wrote a letter to Joab, his commanding general, and said, set him up so that he gets killed. Basically, that's what happened. Set him up into the hottest part of the battle against the most valiant of the people that you're fighting, and then withdraw from him. In other words, instead of everybody there, everybody draws back, so he's all on his own. And Uriah the Hittite died. His wife mourned for him for the minimum time, probably. And then David sent for her to be his wife, and she came and she bare him a son. Now here is murder in the first degree. Even though David is not the man who actually shot Uriah the Hittite with an arrow or chopped him down with a sword, David is as guilty of causing his death as if he had thrust the sword into his heart. And God was not happy. This was a favored man, one who was highly blessed, and one who had now essentially committed murder.